Sainath, if I could just tackle the first one, and I think one way to look at it is sort of just call it the APMC ordinance. The government's argument is that we are not shutting down the APMCs. Supposing a farmer believes a better deal is available with a private player, he can take that option instead of selling at the APMC. My question to you here is twofold. The farmer is anyways doing that, right? I mean, there are enough amount of figures that a large number of farmers are anyways going outside the APMC. So then what is the problem if this was to have a legislative framework around it?
The thing is that, again, I'm saying you're looking at the assumption is it's based on the assumption that the APMC has somehow monopolized something, whereas, as you are saying, there is no such monopoly. Okay, there is no such monopoly. The bulk of transactions and sale of marketable surplus in agriculture anyway happens outside the APMC. What is this legislative framework going to add to that? It, in fact, will legitimize the fact that farmers will be selling in negotiations in which they are completely disadvantaged, because most farmers in most regions of this country part with their produce at the farm gate to the sahukar, to the commission agent, none of whom are public sector. They're all private. Incidentally, another thing in dismantling the public structures, it's worth remembering that farming has never been a public sector activity. Farming is the biggest private sector in your country. It is the largest private sector. So why are you tearing down the structures? You are tearing down a private sector structures to favor corporatization. Small trader, small private guys don't suit your purpose. You are doing this for the corporate world. Okay. Then you can look at this. If the idea should have been that when you are belittling the APMC, when you are cutting it to size, its power is restricted to so many thousand square feet.
Yes.
Yeah, and the idea that private players will come. Hello, that's already happened in Maharashtra and proved a complete failure. Look at the Vashi APMC. It worked on this model. It worked on this idea, this notion that private players would come in and they would have private market. Nothing of the sort happened. I'm tired of telling people that the Indian corporate sector doesn't relish or look forward to any kind of competition. It wants public assets and resources all neatly tied up, gift wrapped and delivered at their doorstep by Amazon. Okay? Or by there they wouldn't mind a government delivery, a public sector delivery. But so the thing is, where did they anyway, have a monopoly in the APMC? That is one place where a small percentage of India's farmers are able to access a minimum support price.
Sainath,
those are very flawed structures.
I know that in the beginning you said that the government is trying to portray as if it is trying to rescue the farmers from the clutches of the APMC. But can we also agree that the APMCs by themselves also have problems, that there is a cartelization, that this existing structure is also a flawed one? And why are we willing to believe that the traditional intermediaries, like the Arthiyas, etc., have been less exploitative of the farmers? So it's not as if we have a structure currently that is completely in sync or not flawed.
Well, the point is that the APMCs came up also to offer people that relief from the commission agent, but yes, they are very flawed, and there are some states in which the Arthiyas run that APMC or make a major gain of the APMC. Yet, it is the one place where farmers have an access to a minimum price. Now, Anubha, what are farmers asking and what is the government giving? Now, if this was such a liberatory thing, emancipation of the enslaved farmer, how come I don't see them celebrating on the street? Yeah, one. Two,
Sorry, go ahead.
The, the why do we, you're taking away, you're belittling this place, reducing even further the number of farmers who have access to a minimum support price. Who are they going to negotiate with? Okay, Anubha, I can just see the farmer can now sell his produce anywhere. Now I need you to look at this particular claim. I want to give you a perspective on it. And I'm tired of not linking it, learning lessons from the very same things that have happened in other sectors. Let's look at two other sectors, health and education. Okay, but first on the freedom of the farmer to sell anywhere. Yeah, Anubha, so a farmer in Nagarkoil is going to leap onto his bullock cart and dash off into the sunset towards Nagaland where he has better prices. Just give me a break. Why? How do we propagate such nonsense? Who is he going to be able to sell that? Who is he going? Second, your existing structures and exploitative structures. First and foremost, I want to say that this word middleman is very amorphous, and there are maybe 9 intermediaries between the onion coming out of the ground, out of the soil, and its sale. The woman vendor selling onions on your street side in the Dadar market, she's also an intermediary. She is not an evil or exploitative intermediary. She is an intermediary performing a tremendous public service. What you're going to find now, and then there are intermediaries and middlemen who are extremely exploitative, but Anubha, I do want to take you through some examples. One, as I said, how many of these from Maharashtra tomorrow you're going to take your kapas and dash off to Kashmir to sell because there's a better price for cotton in Kashmir? I mean, I don't know how we can even entertain such nonsense. The second issue, let's look at what happened in other sectors. Essentially, what is being propagated is the most discredited idea of the last 25 years. What's being propagated is the idea of free market as freedom and state support and intervention as slavery. Okay? Now, if free market is freedom and state, what are the farmers asking for? And what is the government giving them? Farmers are asking for assured prices. They're asking for stability in your home state of Maharashtra. Let's take a sector. Not in the APMC at all. Let's take the milk sector. At the start of the pandemic, in where I live, in Mumbai, we were buying cow milk at 48 rupees, buffalo milk at about 60 per liter. Of that, because of major struggles by farmers in the last 2 years, 18, 19, the farmer was getting 30 rupees out of that 48. 1 month into the pandemic, the prices for us remained the same, 48 rupees for a liter of cow milk. The farmer's share fell to 17 rupees. Entirely private. Entirely private, entirely commission agents. Is what the government doing for me, what the government is doing is going to strengthen that, not weaken it. That the APMC had no role in that. There was no assured price, no minimum support price. So that whole assumption is a deadly falsehood. Is the APMC flawed? Oh yeah, it's very flawed. But again, I'm saying, don't abstract this, don't take this bill as, a piece of legislation in itself, 2 sheets of paper in itself. That isn't what it is.